Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode on the show, Control or Be Controlled, a podcast designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your host, Darlington. Today's guest is Victor Dedaj, a certified naturopathic practitioner, certified holistic health coach, transformational trainer, author, and motivational speaker. Victor has dedicated his life to helping people improve their health, mindset, and overall quality of life. He is the author of How to Be Happy, Healthy, and Whole, and You Can Become Successful, a contributing author to the $1 Million Day and co-author of Success Breakthroughs with Jack Canfield. Through his work in natural health, nutrition, and personal development, Victor has helped Victor helps people understand the connection between physical wellness, mindset, and success. His mission is to inspire others to take responsibility for their health, create meaningful transformation in their life. Today, we will discuss holistic health, nutrition, chronic disease, mindset, and the practical steps people can take to become healthier, happier, and more fulfilled. Victor, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me on, Darlington. It's great to be here.
All right, so I have some questions here for you, and I would like us to get into them.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so first of all, I hope you enjoyed that introduction.
Yeah, it was perfectly fine. Thank you.
Okay, so tell us what inspired you to write How to Be Happy, Healthy, and Whole. By the way, that title is a very wonderful title.
Thank you very much. Well, here's the thing. I just realized there are a lot of people that have a lot of health issues, and there are a lot of people who wish they could be healthier and happier and more whole. And I just realized if they had that right information, they could do that. And I just wanted to get that information out to them so they can change their lives, have that better life, be more whole, be happier and healthier. Just doing the things that I write about in the book. If they could just follow what I describe in their lives could be better. That's why I wrote it.
Okay, thank you so much. So, what does it truly mean to be happy, healthy, and whole?
Well, they're all kind of interconnected. So here's the thing: if you're stressed out, if you're miserably angry, your health's going to suffer. Your immune system's going to go down. People under a lot of stress, for example, they're more susceptible to illnesses, disease. Their high blood pressure goes up, so they can have all kinds of illnesses if they're under constant stress. People who tend to be happier in a joyful mood, who laugh a lot, their immune system tends to be a lot better. They tend to have better health. Think about it. When you were a kid, kids laugh up to 400 times a day. Adults, they only laugh maybe 15 or 20 times a day. And that's something I think we need to change. If you're happier, you laugh a lot, you're in a good mood, you're under a lot less stress, your health will be better. There are places called blue zones in which a lot of people live to be 100 years old. And one of the things they do, and there's a number of things to do, but one thing they say is they don't worry a lot, they don't get stressed a lot. And that's one of the reasons why their health tends to be better than that of the people around them who are not living as long. So I realized that if you can change your mindset, change the way you think about things, feel about things, and do the things to make yourself healthier, follow the proper protocol, eating better quality foods, exercising, supplementing, getting enough sleep, and doing those things, and working on your spiritual, all those things combined will make you more whole, and you'll have a much better life.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor. So, how did your journey into natural and holistic health begin?
It started probably 20 years ago. I started reading some books about health and wellness, and I realized much of the information we'd been given was wrong. And people have been misled about what constitutes good health. And a lot of people were, for example, were not told that eating better quality foods will help them be healthier, or supplementing. And they were just told just to take a lot of prescription drugs, which very often have very bad side effects and often drain you of necessary nutrients. And they're much more, there's much more to it than that. But I realized that much of the information we were given was wrong. And I started, doing more research to, number one, improve my health and to improve the health of those around me, our friends and family, and then eventually to as many people as possible, because the society is suffering if so many people are suffering from these chronic diseases. They're getting them earlier and earlier. They're getting sicker. They're dying younger. I mean, kids today are getting diabetes in their teenage years, and even when they're 8 or 9 years old. 40 years ago, that almost never happened. Type 2 diabetes used to be called adult onset diabetes because you usually got it when you were in your 40s and 50s. You didn't get it when you were a young person. But it's happening a lot more frequently, and it's because a lot of people don't have that information. So as I studied all these things and started learning about it, it really became a passion of mine to really get that information and teach people as much as I can on improving their health. And it's been a passion of mine over the years.
So, why do you think chronic diseases have increased so much over the last several decades?
There are a number of things. Number one, people are eating a lot of ultra processed foods that are high in sugar and seed oils. And here in the United States, they were told to follow what's called the low fat, high carb diet, which is also usually a high seed oil diet, and a high seed oil diet, and that's wreaked havoc on people's health over the decade. As they're eating more carbs and more seed oils, more sugar, more wheat. Wheat is also very inflammatory. It's led to increases in obesity, diabetes. I think it's been a factor in Alzheimer's, increased cancer rates, cardiovascular problems. It's eating lots of ultra processed foods. They're severely deficient in nutrients. And I know, working with a lot of people, they fill out the health evaluation forms, and I look at their scores. The vast majority of people are nutrient deficient. So that's another problem too. They're not getting enough nutrients, the vitamins and the minerals. They're very deficient in it. People not exercising enough, people not getting enough sleep, people are incredibly stressed. So those are some of the factors that led to these increases in chronic disease. And people are on lots of medications. And number one, the more medications you are, the more side effects that can happen. And the more medications you're on, the more nutrients you're going to be drained out of, because of a lot of these medications will drain you of nutrients, whether it's like CoQ10, magnesium, etc. So it makes you more nutrient deficient, which causes more issues. So, and a lot of these prescription drugs that doctors give you, they can affect the heart, they can affect the liver, they can affect the kidneys. A lot of times you have to be certain drugs, you have to be tested for every number of months, because some of these drugs can affect your liver. So people have issues with a number of their organs because there are so many of these medications. I can tell you something. I have never met a person who says, I am on 10 medications and I feel great. That person does not exist, because everyone who's on 10 medications does not feel good.
All right. Thank you so much, Victor. So, you often talk about supplementation. Why do you believe supplements can be important for so many people?
The reason supplementation is so important is the nutrients are just not in the soil. You might have been able to get all the nutrients you need maybe in 1900. But ever since then, here in the United States, they've known since the 1936 Senate report that the soils were deficient in nutrients and minerals. And here's the thing. Plants can sometimes make some vitamins if it gets enough nutrient, enough water, and sun. But if the minerals are not in there, the plants cannot make the minerals. So if it's not in the soil, they're not going to have the minerals. And minerals are extremely important because the vitamins won't work without the minerals. And you need at least 60 different minerals every single day in your diet. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and a couple essential fatty acids. And the soils do not have them. Most of them have very, very few minerals. And as a result, people are very deficient in all these necessary nutrients, which is why you need to supplement. And that applies even if you eat the healthiest food possible, because it's just not in the soil. So I recommend definitely you need to eat real food, good quality food, limit the ultra processed foods, but that's not enough. You definitely need to supplement with these vitamins and minerals. It is extremely important, because if you don't, you're going to be nutrient deficient and you're going to have a lot of health issues.
Okay, so what should people understand about the quality of food that they eat today? I mean, there are different quality of food. So what should they understand?
What they need to understand is if they go to a supermarket, they need to look at what they're buying. They need to see the ingredients. Most people do not read the ingredients, and you're going to see there's a lot of junk in there. A lot of them have lots of sugar. Lots of them have lots of seed oils. A lot of them have a lot of ingredients you can't even pronounce. There's like 5, 6, 7 syllables in the word, and my recommendation is if you cannot pronounce it, you probably should not be eating it. And I recommend you probably stay away from fat-free foods, because when you take fat out of the foods, you lose a lot of the taste. So what do they normally do to replace the fat in those foods? They usually add lots of sugar, which is very bad for your health. And there's a myth here that fat is what makes you fat. That's actually not true. What makes you fat are the high carbs, the lots of sugars, and the seed oils. The foods that are high in those things are going to make you obese. Farmers have known for generations that giving their animals lots of carbs will fatten up. So they give them lots of grains, lots of corn. That's how they fatten them up. A lion is a carnivore. A lion will eat kill an animal and eat it, and he usually does not eat the lean meat of the animal. He eats the fat part of the animal. He eats lots of, and I can tell you, I have never seen an obese lion. They don't exist. I don't know if I'm sure you haven't either. Lions are not obese, and they eat lots of fat, lots of meat, but they don't eat the sugars and the seed oils and stuff like that. They eat the fat part of the animals that they kill. Very rarely do they eat the lean meat. So so you got to be careful as to what you eat. Eat real food, real food, real food. So limit the artificial foods. Eat as the fruits and vegetables, and especially the vegetables. Make preferably organic. If you're going to eat meat, make sure it's grass fed. Make sure it's not loaded up with a lot of hormones and antibiotics. So that causes a lot of health issues. In fact, most antibiotics are not given to people; they are given to animals. Probably about 70% of them. And and if you're getting the antibiotics, if the animals have them, there's a good chance it's probably affecting us as well. And too many antibiotics is not good for your health, because antibiotics not only destroy the bad bacteria, but they destroy the good bacteria, which is necessary for health. And also, antibiotics fatten up animals, which is another reason why farmers will give them to animals. So, and they don't studies say babies that are given a lot of antibiotics tend to be more obese, and obesity causes a whole bunch of health issues. Not just later in life, you're more prone to cardiovascular issues. You're more prone to cancer as well. So, antibiotics is if you're having kids, try to limit the amount of antibiotics your child has. But it's given to now, so try to make sure you're getting meat that has preferably no antibiotics and no hormones if possible.
Okay, so moving on, you are trained in Jack Canfield's success principle. So, what lessons from that work apply to health and personal transformation?
So you asked me about Jack Canfield. So here's how the success principles apply to your health. Now, you need to take 100% responsibility for your life. Because when you take 100% responsibility for your life, you're solution oriented. You work actively on fixing the problem. And you got to do the same thing for your health. You got to take control of your health. Not give it to someone else to control your health. You don't let your doctor take control of your health. You need to take control of your health. Do what you need to do to be healthy. Because doctors, especially in the United States, do not understand nutrition. They spend very little time in medical school studying nutrition, so they know very little about it. They usually, when they have there's an issue, they just give you some medication. The problem is they often just address the symptoms, not the underlying cause. And you got to address the underlying cause of the problem. So that's why you just don't always necessarily just do what your doctor tells you. Ask him questions, do some research, On a lot of things, he can help you, but a lot of times when it's nutrition related, if you're nutrient deficient, very often they don't know. So make sure you take control of your health. So that's why take 100% responsibility for your life and for your health. You got to be consistent in everything that you do for your health. That's something Jack talks about too. And you got to be persistent. You got to work on your mindset. You got to work on your beliefs and having positive beliefs. Having gratitude, not stressing out. He talks a lot of these things. How you feel about yourself will affect your health in a positive way. If you're very negative, if you're frustrated, you're angry, and you're stressed out, that's going to negatively affect your health as well. So you got to take full responsibility. You got to do the things necessary to be healthy, and you got to be consistent with it. And you got to do it day in and day out because everything compounds. It can compound for you or against you, depending on whether you're doing the right things or the wrong things. So if you follow these principles of success and have a clear goal, what you want for your life, maybe you want to lose 20 pounds, maybe you want to put on some muscle, but you're going to have these goals in mind and follow them and be consistent with them. So you apply these success principles to your health, you're going to get good results for you. You will see your health improve over 6 months from now or a year from now. But you got to apply them. The principles always work if you apply the principles.
There's a saying that principles are universal. Wherever you are, anywhere you are in the world, as long as you apply the principles, they will always work. So thank you so much for that wonderful answer. So, what are some mistakes people make when trying to improve their health?
Well, one of the things they do is they buy into some of these health myths. Again, a lot of them buy into this low-fat, high-carb, high-seed oil diet, which has wreaked havoc, as I told you, over the course of several decades, because they believe it's what's healthy. It's not. It's causing many health issues. So the other things they're doing wrong, that they've been told modern wheat is good. It's not. It's very inflammatory. It's linked to diabetes. It's linked to increases celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome. It can affect your brain negatively. And because of the gluten in the modern wheat, it causes a whole bunch of issues in the gut. It can destroy the villi, which will make it harder for you to absorb nutrients. And it raises your blood glycemic index more than regular table sugar. Most people do not know that. So limit the wheat. It's not healthy for you, despite what you've been told. They've been told salt is bad for you. It causes heart issues. It raises blood pressure. That's actually not true. Salt is actually a very important nutrient for you. It's important for your cells. And I'm not talking about the regular salt you buy that has like almost no nutrition, maybe some iodine, and that's it. I'm talking about the regular salt like Celtic sea salt, Himalayan salt, redness sea salt. They usually have somewhere between 60 to 80 minerals. That's very good for you. And it actually has a minimal effect on your blood pressure. In fact, the countries that have the highest longevity rates, where it's Japan, South Korea, and France, guess what? They eat lots of salt. Countries that eat less salt, guess what? They die younger than the countries that are eating more salt. So salt is actually good for you. And so that's another myth that's hurting people. People have been told too much stomach, the acid reflux heartburn is caused by too much stomach acid. That's actually not true. You need stomach acid. It's actually very important for you. You need it to digest nutrients. It also and so if you have little stomach acid, you're not going to be able to digest the nutrients, which are very important to you. Plus, it kills a lot of potential harmful pathogens, like some bacteria and viruses that can be dangerous to you. It's often killed in the stomach, but if you have less stomach acid, it leads to a whole bunch of health issues. So what often happens is when you're in your mid to late 30s, you start losing some stomach acid, and then something called sphincter muscles start opening up, which allows the acid to go up. So actually, if you actually start taking more acid, whether it's something like apple cider vinegar capsules or betaine hydrochloride, you're going to get more stomach acid. You'll see your acid reflux actually tends to disappear. So think about it this way. People don't have acid reflux when they're 15. They usually get in their 40s and 50s, and it's usually when they have less stomach acid. So if you actually want to improve it, generally actually take apple cider vinegar capsules or betaine hydrochloride. Do not take these acid reducers like omeprazole or famotidine, because it's going to reduce your stomach acid. It's going to lead to a whole bunch of health issues, and you won't be able to absorb the nutrients as well. So stay away from it. So there's another health myth people believe. People have been told stay away from eggs because eggs have too much cholesterol. Eggs, number one, are some of the most nutritious foods you can eat. Have lots of nutrients in it, and cholesterol is actually something very important for you. It's one of the most important nutrients for you. Your brain needs it. A big chunk of your brain is made of cholesterol. You need it for your cells. You need it to make bile. You need it to make vitamin D. And without cholesterol, there'd be no human race, because you need it to make estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And it's so important. Your liver makes like up to 80% of the cholesterol in your body. Cholesterol is only a problem when it gets oxidized. Outside of that, it is a very important nutrient. And I believe one of the reasons Alzheimer's and rates of dementia have skyrocketed over the last 40 years is because of stuff like statin drugs, which reduce cholesterol, but it's taking it from your brain, which needs the cholesterols. So I believe it's not a coincidence that the rates of those diseases have gone up, because your brain needs the cholesterol. So people, get as much cholesterol as you need. It's important. As long as it doesn't get oxidized, you're in good shape. So those are just some of the things that's hurt lots of people, because they don't know about these things and they suffer as a result. And sometimes they're told by the doctors, you could get everything you need just from eating a good diet. Now, I stress eat a good diet. That is very important. It's the beginning of everything, but it's not enough. You will have to supplement, because you're not going to get all your nutrients from a good diet. So it starts with a good diet, eat good quality food. People are don't realize they need to get enough sleep, because if you don't get enough sleep, you get exposed to a lot of illnesses, infections. Even down the road, you can be more susceptible to certain types of cancer if you don't get enough sleep. And children who don't get enough sleep have been shown not to learn as well as children who do get enough sleep. And people are not number one, not getting enough exercise, but even if they're exercising, which I think is very important, they also need to supplement after exercising, because you don't just sweat out toxins after working out a good workout. You also sweat out nutrients. So you also have to supplement after a good workout. Otherwise, you can become nutrient deficient. So again, definitely do the exercise. It gives you a lot of health benefits, but you must supplement after a good workout as well. And a lot of people don't know that.
Okay, thank you so much, Victor, for helping us to identify the mistakes that people make when it comes to uh, their health and trying to improve their health and the type of food that our body actually needs. So, for someone who feels stuck in unhealthy patterns, what is the first step towards becoming healthier and more whole?
First thing to being healthier is you need to eat real food, eat good quality food, limit the ultra processed foods as much as possible. That's the very first step. The first step, eat real food. Protect the liver and feed the gut is what Dr. Robert Lustig says, and I agree. Feed the gut and protect the liver. And that's another thing. You have good bacteria in your gut. There's bad bacteria, but there's also good bacteria. And that's why like eating stuff like fiber is important. Fiber, you can't really digest the fiber. Fiber is for the good bacteria in your gut. So that's something very important, because they need to eat too. You keep them happy, they'll keep you happy. So number one, eat real food. Number two, supplement. Number three, get enough exercise, supplement after exercise. Number four, get enough sleep. Number five, um, spend some time in nature, limit the stress, spend some time in the sun, have some gratitude, do some prayer, do some meditation, do things that are relaxing that will help you. It's going to help a lot. So I think if you do those things, laugh some more, feel good, have a good social circle, people that help you feel good, friends, that you could talk to. That's something very important. Watch funny movies, watch funny shows, laugh some more. That's going to help with your health, because it'll make you stress a lot less, and that's going to help your immune system. You do those things, you'll see your health get better.
All right, thank you so much, Victor. Thank you for joining us and sharing your knowledge today. The message reminds us that health is not just about avoiding illness, it's about creating a lifestyle that allows us to live with energy, purpose, and fulfillment. Small choices made consistently can create powerful transformations, and taking control of our health is one of the most important investments we can make in ourselves and our future. So, Victor, for those that would like to connect with you and learn more about what you do, your coaching and all, how can they do that?
They want to reach out to me, they can go to my website, victordedaj.com, and Dedaj is Dedaj. They can also go to my other website, valuewithvictor.com. If they want a free health evaluation, they can go to yourfreehealthevaluation.com, and they can also go to my check out my book, How to Be Happy, Healthy, and Whole, on Amazon. And worldwide, it should be available. On Kindle, it's 99 cents because I wanted to make it as affordable as possible. And if they want to reach out to me, they can follow me also on Facebook or LinkedIn. Look up Victor Dedaj.
Thank you so much, Victor. I really appreciate you for coming. And thanks to all my audience as well for tuning in. You guys are the reason why we are able to do this. And until next time, I will see you guys again on another episode. Meanwhile, continue to take control of your health. Otherwise, something else will. Thank you all so much, and make sure to check out Victor's work and reach out to him as well. For if this episode is speaking with you, try and share it to someone out there who might need to better improve their health. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Victor, for coming to my show.
Thanks for having me on the show. Have a great day.